people to raise their hand first and basically make a little motion to say, I give you permission to start a conversation with me. And so a good DM conversation starts with the content that you're putting out in the first place. So what I would say is, first thing, if I know, okay, I have an offer to share and I would love to have some conversations in my DMs about it, rather than me decide, looking at my followers, let me decide who is going to want to talk about this. Instead, I'm going to kind of give an opt-in. So this might look like a story. So let's say, hey, I'm going to be going live later today to talk about how to sell in the DMs. Would you like me to send you a link to the replay? Yes, heck yes. Little poll up, right? Then I'm going to have a list of all the people who answer that poll. And those people, those are the ones who I'm going to choose to DM and start those conversations with that day.
The ones that said, yes, I give you permission.
Yeah, the ones who said, yes, I would like to hear about that. And this might, this is like a very simple example. It might be perhaps you want to book some discovery calls for your services. Let's say that you are a social media manager or you're a graphic designer and you've got some spots in your calendar and you, like let's go with social media manager because I see that Nia is here. So let's say you've got 2 spots for 10 hours of social media management a week available right now. And you could go onto your stories and you could do this written ones to tap through, or you could get on and do a short, like a couple of video stories. And you could say, right, are you ready to finally take the burden of social media off of your plate? If that's a yes, then I have an opportunity for you. So I'm looking to connect with 3 entrepreneurs who want to claim back their time from the time they were spending on social media. If that's you, drop me a yes below. And then everyone who you get a yes from, hey, are you still interested in that? And then we can start a conversation with someone who's raised their hand and go, yeah, I'm an interested party, rather than you just like creeping on people and going, yeah, I'll DM them. Because when you're creeping on people, that's when you feel creepy.
Yes, exactly. Versus when someone gives you the permission and says, yeah, I'm actually interested, then you feel no sort of like pushy feeling to do so.
The opposite. You're actually obligated to follow up with them, because otherwise what? You're going to leave them hanging?
Yeah. That's very true. That's very true. I love that, actually. So would you recommend kind of taking advantage of the Instagram stories to kind of ask a question and see what responses you get? Or is there another way that you would recommend getting permission or getting that, yes, I'm interested in you DMing me?
Yeah, 100%. So there are so many ways that you can apply this principle of hand raising, and it's something that I talk with my clients a lot about and we practice on a regular basis. But Instagram stories are literally made for this, right? Like you can be so quick tapping a poll or sliding a slider or whatever, but there's no reason that you can't do this in your posts. So let's say you're doing a feed post, you could have a call to action in there of, if you're one of those 3 people, or if you want to raise your hand for this, send me a certain emoji, a heart emoji, or send me a hand raise emoji, or DM me the word ready. You can have a verbal call to action there. Or we could even do it, if you're doing live video content like this, I could say, okay, so if you're watching this now and you're finding this super interesting, just drop me an emoji below right now and I will go back on the replay. I will find you and I will message you with a treat. Okay. And then we've got people live who are then gonna opt in and say, oh yeah, that's cool. But then the onus is on me to follow up. And this is why it's so cool, because when you like cold message someone, basically you're like putting the onus on them to reply to you. You're giving them a job to do, and very often that person is busy. And so when you can make it a really quick opt-in, like send me an emoji, tap this poll, drop me a yes in the comments live, and I will take on the burden, if you like, of following up. I will take that on. That's service, okay? And when you treat people like that, when you take responsibility for helping them, for following up right from day one, rather than asking them to invest time in giving you information up front before you've given any value, that
Yes.
is a fantastic service. And believe me, if you just do this, you will feel completely different about starting DM conversations with people.
Absolutely. And there was when you brought up the point of giving value, I've talked to a lot of different mentors and a lot of different like industry professionals, and one of the reoccurring topics that always gets noted is you have to give before you ask. And sometimes it's like it's hard to like, depending on what kind of business you own and what products or services you sell, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to figure out, okay, what am I really going to give, like in this situation? So this could be considered as a give. Am I right?
100%. And I I love that you brought this up, Zaina, because yeah, so many people, especially folks who are perhaps a little bit earlier on in their business, they go, well, like I don't have anything to give. I don't have a freebie. I haven't got a free ebook or a, like, insert
Yeah.
thing here, insert thing we're told to have here. And the reality is that there is, those how-to content pieces, or 7 steps to this, or 5 ways to that. That kind of content is actually not what your audience needs right now in 2020. Very often it's what they think they want. Most people, when they're trying to solve a problem, whether it's in their business or their personal life, they think that what they need is just one more strategy or just one more tip or just one more thing. That's why we have this appetite for online programs, right? However, when you can give people, there are a couple of things you can give people which don't involve you having to have a PDF or a free training or any of those things. And the first, and you can do this so easily in a DM, is you can give people value by giving them clarity. Yeah, you can give them clarity. And, I think about it like this. If someone has a problem, let's take your customers, for example. Perhaps one of the problems that they experience is the feeling of being alone. They are lacking community. They miss, yeah, no one in their personal life gets them. Maybe the friends who they used to have kind of criticize them for what they're trying to do now, and so
Yeah.
they come to you
I
because,
understand.
yeah, absolutely. And yeah, no shade, like, but the people who you serve in your business, like, they're looking for that connection, like that is missing for them, right? And that inspiration and that aspiration and that kind of collective goodness. And so, what if you were to get someone to raise their hand? Hey, I'm looking for 5 women entrepreneurs who are looking to build a deep and meaningful connection with a new community in the next 30 days. Give me a yes if that's you. You can then follow up and with the intention of giving them the gift of clarity. Yeah. So I would use a couple of questions to help give them this gift. So first of all, I would say, amazing. Are you still interested in connecting with a community of like-minded women over the next 30 days? So I'd check they're still interested first. Definitely do that. You're going to get a yes back. And yeah, it just kind of kicks the conversation off on the right foot. Then you're going to ask them, amazing. And do you mind me asking, what's the biggest challenge for you right now in terms of finding that connection? Yeah, what's the biggest challenge for you right now? And then when they tell you challenge, you go, amazing. And can you tell me what it would mean to you to be a, or what it would look like for you to have that connection instead? Or what would the result look like is kind of what we're trying to ask. So what's the challenge? What do you want instead? By asking these 2 questions and just listening to the answers, not trying to fix them, not trying to give
Yeah.
advice, not trying to go, oh, it's not that bad, like not trying to do any of that. Just go,
Yeah.
okay, amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And can I also ask what it would mean to you to have a community around you, to listen to someone and actually help them get clear on what's missing and what the heck they want instead, that is value.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's also giving them the feeling that there's someone listening and not just selling, not just, asking for something.
Absolutely, absolutely. Listening is key. And yeah, when you can, it's not even about making someone feel listened to, it's actually freaking listening to them.
Listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I was recording a video for my clients this morning, and I was basically showing them, I don't know, if you've been over to my stories today, you'll see that it's
Yeah.
all like a big poll. And I was sending a video about it to my clients, just saying, like, look, if you're wondering why I write good copy, it's not because I'm special. It's not because I'm smarter than anyone. It's not like, I didn't have great grades when I left school and stuff like that. It's because
Right.
I listen. It's because I know the questions to ask. And then I listen to the responses and I take those responses and I put them into my copy. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, like listening is the most underrated skill for any business owner who wants to make sales and communicate the value of their offer.
So the example that you've given right now, it's more so geared towards like Run the World, for example, if anyone's looking for community or a sisterhood or whatever it is. But what if I have a product, or what if I am like a, B2C, and I have a online store, for example, and I'm selling pens. I don't know. um, is it the same sort of like concept for products?
Hmm. I mean, to be honest with you, like in my business, I specialize with working with people who are service providers.
Okay.
And this might include some people with like higher price point products, because when you're selling something, let's say it's a custom piece of jewelry that comes in at like four figures, for example, then the jewelry is, yeah, it's part of the sale, but the service is a huge part of the sale too. And that's, yeah. So, but with like, let's say it was an e-commerce store or like an Etsy store or something like that, what you could do is you could, and this isn't the only way to sell in the DMs, this is just a way to kind of repurpose the strategy that I've just shared. But one thing that you could do would be to think about, you could do this around occasions. That would work really, really well. So let's say you have something that would make a perfect gift for an occasion. Let's say, well, like Ramadan is coming up. So,
Girl,
you
you
have a
know.
special, of course I know. Um, but
Ramadan is
yeah,
coming up very fast. Oh my goodness.
right? Like, and it's a huge opportunity to share gifts. So why not, if there's a particular gift in your store, in your Etsy store, in your e-commerce store that you want to highlight, and you could put a post up saying, I'm looking for three proud aunties who want to buy the perfect gift for their nephew before Ramadan. Okay, that's me. I need a gift for my nephew. Tap, tap.
I'm the
Yeah.
auntie.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I didn't know that, but good guess. So yeah, and then you're going to follow up. Hey, amazing. Love that you tapped. Are you still looking for a gift for your nephew? Right? Yes, I'm still interested, is what we're asking, but we're tailoring that first question. Are you still interested? Then we go, what have you been looking at so far? What did you like or not like about what you've seen so far? And yeah, tell me a fun fact about your nephew. Okay, amazing. Like, with your permission, and this is key, then once we've got some feedback, we've got some clarity on what they're actually looking for. This is really important for services and products. Great. With your permission, I would love to share a link to a product in my store that I think could be a great fit for your nephew. Would that be okay with you? Yeah. We're not coming in and dropping a link in there and then legging it out of the DMs. We ask permission first. Okay. So you're going to ask permission. Would that be okay with you for me to share a recommendation from my store? And honestly, I have never had, I mean, when I say this, it's more like, I think, okay, based on what you're telling me, I think it would be a great next step for us to connect on a 30-minute discovery call. Would you be open to me sharing the link to my calendar with you? I don't think I've ever had anything other than a yes, please, that, or yes, please, that sounds amazing. Thank you. Right? This is the kind of reaction we want. And when you ask permission, whether it's to share your intake form, a product from your store, a link to a discovery call, when you ask permission, is that okay with you? Are you happy for me to do that? Are you comfortable with me doing that? And we invite a yes back, then when you do share that link, 9 times out of 10, the other person will take immediate action.
I love that. I love that. That's it once, you know, once I'm kind of hearing this, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so simple, but nobody does that. Everybody just kind of throws in the links and the, hey, check this out, or, you know, so I love that. And I wanted to ask you actually, what is your opinion on, I've actually received a few of these DMs quite recently actually. So, and I didn't really know how to respond or what to feel, but I want to get your opinion on when you follow somebody or you follow a brand or just an individual and they send you a message and they say, hey, I noticed that you followed. Thank you so much for joining the community, whatever. I hope that you, you know, enjoy your time on my page or so, just something like that. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
So, what do you think about that?
Mm, I think it's, I don't know. I don't know what I think about it. I don't do
Right?
it, if that's your question. And when I get that from someone, okay, like here's what I think about it. I don't like copy and paste messages. I'm just gonna say it
Right.
rather than try and tread around it. I dislike copy and paste messages. There is a time and a place for when copy and paste is useful. For example, if someone has tapped like I want a code or yes, I want a link and they want something very specific, and or if someone has contacted me with some kind of question related to a program or a customer service issue or anything like that, I have a copy and paste message for that. I send them over to my support address, right? Like copy and paste messages are supposed to be for functional things, getting information to people that they have requested. I don't think that copy and paste messages are a way to build a powerful connection with people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so whilst I think the intention is good, I think the execution is poor. And actually, kind of when I receive something like that, it to me it says disingenuous, because I'm like, if you were really happy that I was on your page, like it would take you 15 seconds longer to grab your phone and go, hey, I've been following you for a while. I'm so happy that you finally hit follow back. I was beginning to get offended. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to see in the next couple of weeks. I'm doing my content plan tonight. Like, and get your face up there and actually connect with someone. Like copy and pasting, you can have a VA doing that or a bot doing that, and to me it feels disingenuous.
Okay. That
So
makes
it's
total
not the act of it, it's like how you do it.
It's like the delivery was just poor.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
intention but poor execution, and that's not a good first impression really, is it?
Yeah, because I when I got these messages, I'm like, oh, that's nice, but I still felt something was a little bit off, but I couldn't really pinpoint what that was. And now that you've kind of mentioned that, it's a lot more clear that maybe I was a bit off because it felt a little copy paste, or it just felt a little like not authentic.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, like I always love to, when I get a message that I'm a bit like, I smell copy paste. I love to always try and have like think the best of the other person and be like, okay, this was probably their intention. Their intention was probably to connect with me. And then I'll make a decision based on how much time I've got, like whether I'm in the mood, what have you, whether I'll give them an opportunity to step it up. And, you know, if you're having a conversation with someone and it feels kind of stale, like, why not take the lead in stepping it up? Why not use a voice note or a video note or send a meme or a GIF? Like, we have so many tools inside of this app. And yeah, like just using all of those tools can add a lot more personality to a conversation, and kind of elevate it from being, you know, how are you?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And so kind of going back to, I know we veered off topic a little bit, but going back to your initial point of providing value and then you offered clarity. So is
Mhm.
that, do you have any other suggestions or any other maybe tips that you'd like to point out?
Yeah, 100%. So clarity, definitely one way that you can add value without having a PDF ready to go. The other value that I love to add to people, which again is free, is space, just holding space for people. And we kind of talked a bit about that in terms of listening,
Yeah.
and allowing people to feel heard. My tip around that is, and I think as women identified folks especially, we actually find this quite difficult sometimes because many of us have been conditioned in a way to, okay, someone presents a problem, we kind of have been conditioned to almost like take it on and deal with it, right? And, you know, in it, and this goes especially for like coaches, right? So often I hear from coaches who are spending time coaching in their DMs. It's like, what are you doing? Okay, this isn't your job. They're not paying you yet.
Yeah.
So what you can do is you can hold space. So rather than rushing in and going, oh, like that's okay, don't worry, everyone goes through this, it's gonna be fine. Like that's a job for their friends. Okay. Side note, this is why if you're getting friend zoned by potential clients, that's why that's happening, because you are trying to be their friend. And so you cannot blame prospective clients for friend zoning you when you show up like a friend. Okay. You need to show up like an authority and a service provider. And in terms of holding space, that means just listening, receiving, and validating. So rather than me rushing in and saying, oh my God, like, don't worry, like, I totally went through that, blah, 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 it's going to be fine. Like, it's not even that bad. You'll
Yeah.
see, la, la, la. Instead, I'm going to go, that sounds really difficult. Thank you for sharing that with me. Thank you. And you can already feel the power of that pause, right? And the power of holding that space. And this will be very refreshing for people. And they will appreciate that space without someone trying to rush in and fix. So that would definitely be the second thing. The third thing is, I like to refer to this as activating their resourcefulness. Okay.
Okay.
So think to the last time where you felt stuck on a problem. Maybe you were like pacing up and down and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with this thing. Let's say you were setting up an email service provider. Oh my God, it's so complicated. The tech is annoying. The merge tags don't make sense. I can't find my list. La, la, la. I don't even know what to write. I don't know how to set up the automations. And maybe it just felt like, oh. And this is very often the state that people are in when they reach out for help, when they raise their hand. They're in a state of, I'm trying to like just doing, trying. And
Nothing's
so
working.
once, yeah, exactly. And they're in that space of nothing's working. Exactly. And so once we've, and you would do this third. So once you have asked those two clarity questions, held a little space, then I would ask a question that kind of invites them to re-access that resourcefulness that lives inside them. Okay. Everyone has resourcefulness inside them. Like they really do. Sometimes you just need someone, hey, like you've got all this inside you. Come on. And so to do this, I would ask a question like, okay, so can you tell me about a time where you felt overwhelmed in the past and you overcame it? And that could be a really good way to invite, oh yeah, like this one time I was really struggling with this, and then I figured out this one thing. Like, see, so you are good at overcoming problems. So what is it that you need to do first in order to get yourself out of this email setup mess? And that person is going to reply to you and be like, oh yeah, I can just do this. And they're going to come away from that conversation feeling like a little spike of motivation. And it's because you just reminded them that they are resourceful, that they have resources inside themselves, and that they are capable. And when you remind people that they're capable, it's, again, it's a gift that doesn't cost you anything, doesn't require a PDF, and it's a very powerful way to communicate with people in your DMs.
That's so interesting because for the longest time whenever I would speak to anybody like the mentors or industry professionals and they would bring up the point of offering value, we instantly go to that PDF. We instantly go to something maybe tangible, or we instantly go to something that, you know, they could read and 7 steps and 10 steps and this and that. So it's really interesting to hear your perspective and understand that no, it doesn't have to be something tangible or a PDF or a 7 steps or this. It could literally be something as simple as listening and giving clarity, like you said. And wow, I really enjoyed listening to that. That was awesome. Because
Thank you.
sometimes
And
not
like
everybody.
those things are still valuable too, but they're not the be all and end all. And that's what I want people to take away from this conversation. Like, you don't have to have this huge bank of impressive, like perfectly designed stuff in order to look credible and in order to connect with people and ultimately move your conversation to a place where you can make sales in your DMs. If you can do those 3 things, well, first of all, raise hands, then offer clarity, hold space, and activate some resourcefulness, people are going to come away from that conversation like, holy shit, like,
Yeah,
I feel good.
yeah.